Matt, how are you, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely. We were talking about. I was just talking about some NBA stuff there, but earlier had been talking about little party tonight.
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I'm posted up at home and I'm using the home studio for the first time in a long time and I had some technical issues, so I apologize that I'm late.
No worries. I assumed that you were
Better
locked
late than
down in the.
never.
Oh, always. I assumed you were locked down in the bunker, man.
Yeah.
Down below, like 10 floors below Lucas Oil Stadium is where
Right.
they have the draft bunker room.
Yep, they're posted up in a little tunnel, and then they give the pick to a troll, and then
And he runs.
the troll climbs up the ladder out of the tunnel, and then courier pigeons the pick to Kansas City tonight, flies it to Roger Goodell. He unfurls it like a scroll and says with the fourth pick, the Indianapolis Colts select, and then your TV feed it dies right then and there, and then your phone loses connection. You don't know what's going on Twitter. Then you're running outside, you're banging on your neighbor's door, he's not home, so you have no idea what's going on. It's going to be epic.
or if you are able to hear it in some homes, there's going to be beer bottles flying through TVs, and on other ones,
I hope not.
champagne bottles popping.
Yeah.
You never make everybody happy.
Yeah, that's right. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Isn't that what they say? Especially this time of year. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get most of Colts fans and people around here in Central Indiana happy tonight. I think most will be, because the consensus is that they will draft a quarterback. We don't know until it actually happens tonight. But I think a lot of people just in that will be happy that, they have some, hopefully, perhaps have found some franchise stability in a young rookie quarterback trying to get off the veteran carousel. The fact that the Colts are going to have, if it's Gardner Minshew or a rookie quarterback this upcoming fall, 7 straight seasons with a different starting quarterback. But yeah, hopefully in 5 years, we're looking back on this time and saying, wow, that was a really big moment, kind of a big milestone for the Colts and the success that they have had in the last 5 years. Hopefully that's the conversation we're going to have, and it all starts tonight, and see what they do and the type of guy they bring in the top 5.
Yeah, we were, I was telling the fans earlier when you came on, you were going to let us know who that pick was going to be.
Sorry,
we'll wait till the end. We'll wait till the end to let that one out of the bag. Just kidding, everybody. How many people think that you actually know? And it's not that you don't know things, but there's just so much that it goes on so fast and changes so fast that what a decision that was made when you're in a conversation, you could actually be in a conversation and a decision is made, and 5 minutes later it's the opposite.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, believe it or not, they're not letting the radio guy in the draft room. It's shocking to me. I think it's bogus. I think it's BS, to be honest with you. I'm going to bang on doors.
It's information, baby. You got to have it.
Hypothetically, like if I'm at the water cooler, if I'm getting a splash of Diet Coke and I see a scout or I see a personnel member, like whatever they tell me 2 weeks ago, it could completely change based on the information they now have and the amount of digging that they do on all of these guys. So I think perception kind of, I don't know if it changes, but it's definitely evolving all the way up until tonight, believe it or not. So, I actually like the fact that I don't know. I like it that I don't know, because then I kind of get to be a fan like everybody else.
I'm digging it. I'm the same way.
Even if I could know, I don't know if I would want to know, because in a lot of instances in life, ignorance is bliss. And the fact that I can come on this show and tell you that I don't know and not have to lie about it, there's something to that. And I like the fact that there's going to be just drama and anticipation coming up tonight. I mean, I kind of joked earlier, like how cool is it that we're gonna have to be like hanging on every syllable when Roger Goodell is up there, right? He could say, with the 4th pick, the Colts select CJ. It could be Will. It could be and right. I mean, it's going to be awesome to kind of like read lips and anticipate how this goes. And when the Colts are on the board, I purposely avoid Twitter because you always have these Twitter bots out there that get the picks, maybe like 5 to 7 minutes, like right when they're turned in, and then somebody at Kansas City's the mole, somebody's the leak, out there, and obviously the TV's not going to report those in real time, but you can find them if you want to. I don't like doing that. I like being a fan. I like finding out in real time and having that like authentic, organic reaction to what happened. So from that standpoint, I'm excited. I do not know who the Colts are picking. I've talked to a bazillion people. I've done chats. I've done interviews. I've done public speaking. That's all anybody wants to know. I do not know. We'll all find out tonight.
Matt, you mentioned kind of being on the edge of the seat, hanging on every syllable that Roger Goodell, is coming out of his mouth. When was the last time the Colts were in this kind of position where, a lot of times you don't know who the draft pick is going to be, but it seems like this feels bigger than most years. And I think you can go back to previous seasons where you knew they were going to draft Andrew Luck, or it was going to come down to Peyton Manning or Ryan Leaf, or, we've experienced certain situations like that, but where they have the number 4 pick and you don't really know, there's a lot of suspense, there's a lot of excitement. What can you think of a time the Colts have been in this position recently?
No, I can't. Like you said, the last couple of times the Colts have been this high, it's been in fact number 1 overall, where they've been able to kind of have their pick of the litter and not trading up to number 1. You're going to get a franchise player regardless of the position, but you don't have your fate completely in control tonight. So tonight is actually going to be only the second time in the last 20 years the Colts pick in the top 5. A couple years ago, they were in that position. They traded back. They went from 3 to 6 in 2018 and grabbed Quentin Nelson. That was that Sam Darnold trade. But to be in the top 5, it's been a long time. So I think the Colts, this is sort of like the reward. It sounds stupid to say, but this is what you get. This is what you earn when you go 4-12-1. And the fact that you went 4-12-1 and you had some offensive issues, to say the least, you had some defensive issues down the stretch of last season. I think, all 3 phases of the team last year contributed to them being here. And with that, you can say they're no longer just a quarterback away. They can't really justify any longer going the Phillip Rivers route or the Carson Wentz route or the Matt Ryan route. So they need to have some stability here. They're in a position to do it. So with that, you have to capitalize while you're here, while trying to not be here for a long time, and win some football games in a crowded AFC. So that's what they're trying to get accomplished tonight, and trying to hopefully, again, in 6-7 years, not have to wonder and worry about who's playing quarterback like they have since 2019, August 24th of that year. But who's counting, right? So it's very exciting tonight in that they continue to lay some cement on the foundation of this offseason. First big piece was Shane Steichen. Now we'll see what happens at quarterback. But any success they have going forward for the next couple of years is going to start with tonight and be defined and traced back to this moment.
I love that. Add some cement to the foundation.
That is good.
Man,
he's
how long have you been?
Blind squirrel finds a nut from a literacy standpoint every once in a while, boys.
That's a keeper. That's one of those key. I got to see if I was a great mind like yours that I could remember those great things. I think at the age of 20, I started the onset of dementia. It's I can't remember Jack, but it's those great nuggets. The great one. Man, so do you have all your snacks ready at the reach, within arm's reach? The popcorn, the Chex Mix, the water bottle, or do you got the hat with the water on it so you don't even have to use the hands? What's the setup for draft night, man?
Yeah, I got
or the backpack or the like the
camel
water
bag.
boy, deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got something like that going.
I'm ready. I got the beer bong ready. It's going to be fantastic. Between picks, we're shotgunning beers every 5 minutes. We're going to see how much fun we can have tonight in the first round. Make it epic, right? Turn it into a memory. Got the snacks ready, and try to have some discipline tonight, because it's going to be a long night. We're going to do the entire first round. Then we're going to recap the Colts pick. We're going to do some podcasts late at night so that people can have some reflection content, if you will, for their drive to work tomorrow morning on Friday. So it's going to be a late night. So you got to kind of pace yourself on the amount of intake you have throughout the course of the night. So I'll put the snacks at bay, kind of at our arm's length, so I have some self-discipline. But I'm excited about it.
Where can, just so the people know, as always, where can the fine folks find all of the information that will be coming out from you and the rest of the Colts media, Colts media, but the Colts productions tonight after tonight's draft?
We are doing a live draft show tonight starting at 7. So from 7 to 8, sort of our pre-draft show. Draft starts at 8. We're with you all the way until the end of the first round tonight. We're going to be streaming Colts.com, the Colts mobile app, but then also radio-wise in Indianapolis on our flagship station, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. That's where you can find us on radio. But again, stream anywhere, Colts.com and the Colts mobile app. And then we'll do it again tomorrow as well. So we're live pick by pick with you, rounds 1 through 3. Tomorrow we start at 7. That's when the second round of the draft starts. And then we're with you all the way until the end of the third round. Again, same deal. Colts.com, the mobile app, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. So basically, if you're in Indy, tune it in on radio. If you're anywhere else, go the streaming route. And we're incredibly excited about it. So glad it's here. So tired of talking about the same stuff for 4.5 months. We kind of put all that speculation to bed and talk about, again, concrete answers and definitive players that are now playing for the Colts.
Philip suggested that they should have kept Jeff Saturday for one more year to tank and then come back, because we did have a conversation. I know it's not going to happen, but this is kind of a weird year with quarterbacks. Usually there's kind of top 3 or 4, and there is a top 3 or 4, but really it's a top 2. Then there's this little separation. Doesn't mean a lot because no one can predict the future. We know that, but the thought of, and I know waiting no one would be able to do that, but if they were able to hold off and trade that and just set themselves up for a monster first round next year, I know that it's so different, but that could change the trajectory of a franchise.
Well, let me jump in here though, but there's never, especially at quarterback, there's never a guarantee. And you look at, somebody mentioned Sam in the comments mentioned Brock Purdy dropped all the way down to Mr. Irrelevant, and he was the third string quarterback, and he ended up leading the San Francisco 49ers to the NFC Championship game. So there are no guarantees, even though we don't like this and I don't think this is the greatest quarterback class we've ever seen. There are no guarantees. You could have a guy in the middle of the third or fourth round who ends up being maybe not a Peyton Manning, but a 10 to 12 year starter and get you to the playoffs regularly. So there's and you could have a guy that you select number 1 or number 2 overall. Look at Ryan Leaf's career. A lot of people wanted him over Peyton Manning.
Correct. No, that's right. I mean, for every, Josh Allen and, Patrick Mahomes, there's 4 to 5 EJ Manuels and Sam Darnolds and Baker Mayfields and Josh Rosen. So I always go back to, if finding a franchise quarterback was so freaking easy, everybody would have one. Right. Okay. And I know quarterbacks get pushed up the board because of the importance of the position, and the nature of the draft is teams get desperate and they move up to grab a guy. But I think there's a balance. I really do. And that's what this entire, portion of time between January and now has been about for the Colts, is we have to stick to our principles in that we can't force this pick. We can't draft flawed prospects just because we're at 4 and we need a quarterback, and that's what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, we understand what it can do for your roster if you find the right guy at quarterback and be able to build around that player for 3 to 4 years because of the economics and the roster construction that a young rookie quarterback affords you on a rookie contract. You don't have to pay him like you are paying Patrick Mahomes or, eventually, Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. You have a lot of flexibility if you find the right young rookie quarterback, and you have a little bit of a window of opportunity if you have a good roster around him, which I think the Colts, for the most part, still do. I mean, you look at DeForest Buckner and Shaq Leonard and Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson and Michael Pittman and Braden Smith. These are some players at really important positions that are in the primes of their career. And so you still have to kind of balance that and recognize that and try to capitalize on that. And so to your point, if you say, screw it, we're not going to take a quarterback this year, even though we're at 4 and the quarterbacks aren't slam dunks. They're not John Elway's or Trevor Lawrence's or Andrew Luck's. We'll trade back and we'll just go for it for next year. Well, first of all, you're going to have a really pissed off locker room because all of those guys still want to play. They still want to win. And you're just wasting prime years of their careers in their contracts, right? The whole point of the draft is to draft well, develop, and re-sign your own and build up the guys you want to be a part of this team and the culture that you're trying to build. So, yeah, it sounds good on paper to tank and suck and be able to have a lot of draft picks to move up and get a quarterback next year, but nothing's guaranteed. The NFL stands for not for long, as I always say. So just because that's your plan doesn't mean it's going to work out like that. There's so many other variables that can screw you out of that mindset. So the Colts are trying to find the guy they're most convicted about in this quarterback class, make it work with Shane Steichen, who's had success with a lot of different quarterbacks in his time in the NFL, and try to, again, get off of this carousel of veteran guys and compete in a very crowded AFC.
That's you just put it perfectly, my friend, to make it very easily understandable for us morons. So thank you. And I love some of the responses. We've got some really, really quick-witted responders over in the comments. 5 lefts at the end of your earlier your great little soliloquy you gave. 5 lefts added, at the end, Roger Goodell reads the tablets and then accidentally drops them, and the Colts wander in wilderness for 40 seasons.
Oh boy, yeah.
That's going to happen. I think it was funny.
Yeah, the carrier pigeon still is a good backup, though. Just go back to the pigeon.
Absolutely.
Get the scroll. The scroll still has all the answers.
Kind of like a dove, like the dove.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, brother, we can't wait to next time we talk to you. Guess what? We're going to know all of this. We'll know everything there is to know.
Yep. We'll all be in a better mood. I think right now we're on edge. We're agitated. We're getting under each other's skin with all these hypotheticals. Yeah, hopefully we'll be in a better mental space, I think, next Thursday.
It's fun. Last thing, the movie Draft Day. You've been around it enough. How accurate is that? Towards especially the draft scenes.
I mean, I think there's a lot of certainly there's some embellishment, there's some Hollywood involved in it, but I think at its core, it's a good movie as it tries to portray all the different paralysis by analysis and overthinking that might happen in the 11th hour by all these GMs and the constant phone calls and I'll give you this if you give me that, but this needs to happen first. I mean, I think that part is very accurate. All the different things that a guy like Chris Ballard tonight is going to have to juggle and be aware of. Not only do you have to understand your board and stay true to that, but then also you have to have a good pulse on the rest of the league, especially all the teams in the first round around you that can impact you. Obviously, the teams, the first 3 picks in front of the Colts, But then you need to know, sort of the desperation thermometer of all the other teams that could potentially leapfrog you in a trade. So yeah, I think that the draft day movie in that sense does a good job of portraying the chaos and all of the different variables that people. I mean, there's that scene where he trades back, or he doesn't pick, whatever the plot was. He doesn't pick the quarterback because none of his teammates showed up to his draft day party, and that was a big red flag. Like, that part is 100% true. Like, that's how much overthinking and tiny detail, intricacy, thought process goes into the draft by these GMs. Like, I don't want to say overthink, but they want to know why everything is happening when it comes to your personality, your skill ability on the field. They just want to know every little thing about you before they, quite frankly, invest so profoundly in you. Because if they screw it up, it's not only the franchise that gets hosed, but they're probably going to be out of a job in a couple of years if they don't get some of these picks at the top of the draft right.